Alrighty guys, it's your boy Petty Rick coming to you for the Chase on Two Wheels channel from a Royal Enfield event in beautiful Barcelona, Spain. Guys, I know Dooley has been out here to Spain twice this year already. This is my first press release on an international level, and we've got the brand new Royal Enfield Guerrilla 450, a totally brand new bike to the world market. Super excited to be here at the global launch. We are expecting a US launch later this year, but for now, I'm super excited to be here. In the meantime, check out some beauty shots and a little bit of stats on the Guerrilla 450. All right, guys, so we just left the beautiful W Hotel on the coast of Barcelona. We are headed slightly inland. We've got about a 40-minute ride right now to the top of this beautiful mountain that is just on the other side of these buildings over here. Apparently there's an old Formula One racetrack that operated between 1930, sometime in the 30s to sometime in the 80s. We're gonna check that out. It's a street course, so we're actually gonna be able to get to do a lap of the old course, which is badass. Super stoked on that. I am just kind of slowly figuring out all the controls on this bike and figuring out kind of what everything does. We are in performance mode. I'm sticking in eco mode for a little while, kind of see how she feels. So far, first, like very initial impressions, I like the width of the handlebar. The levers feel really good. They're this nice blacked out kind of color. The mirrors are great. They don't vibrate too much. The shifter is a little low for my preference, but all of that can be adjusted as we know, so super easy adjustment there. And the brake lever, on the other hand, is in a fantastic position off the rip. So really quite a big fan of that. As we kind of leave the hotel, my goal here is to be safe first and foremost and learn the Barcelona, the Spanish way of riding through traffic. It's kind of wild, so we have been just kind of learning as we go the past couple of miles. So we're on this super cool yellow, purple, and black bike. It's kind of all of us here on the press ride are on this bike right now. It's the colorway they're really showing off. And really, it's really rad. There's a couple other really great colorways they're bringing with this Guerrilla 450 as well, but this one is one of the more standout ones. They offer a beautiful white and blue. There's a gold and kind of red, orange. There's like this beautiful matte silver. You can really see all the lines that come out of the tank from how they've designed it. One of the designer's favorite colors is the matte silver, one of the guys I was talking with last night. Okay, even in the eco mode, this little guy gets up and goes. I'm pretty happy with that. And the bike, like, so compliant, so comfortable. Even for, like, I'm a big guy, this is a smaller bike in stature than what I'm normally used to. Also smaller in engine size, to be honest, but it's got plenty of boogie, mid-40s for horsepower and torque, you know, which for a city bike, a scrambler style bike, for blasting around town or whatever, like, is more than plenty. The engine is good. I like it. It's peppy. It's really smooth. It does get a little vibey when you rev it out, but there's very few bikes that don't, which is great. You know, again, I like the handlebar. The controls very similar to the rest of the Royal Enfield lineup, including the Super Meteor 650, kind of the old school switch style, which I do enjoy. I think it's a great retro kind of callback, and then it also, you know, the fact that they use the same design generally means they can use a lot of the same tooling and machining to keep costs low on bikes and things like that, which is great. But I really like the engine. The shifting is really smooth, really positive feedback out of the shifter. You know, you're not missing any shifts or anything like that. Neutral is easy to find and get in and out of, so. All right, so we are heading out of the city now. Gives me a chance to talk a little bit more about the bike. I don't like to talk while sitting at red lights because it's boring for you guys. So 6 gear, doing about 85 Ks. So I'm getting a little bit of vibration through the foot pegs. Not a lot through the handlebars. The mirrors are really, really solid, so I'm really happy with that. Yeah, not a lot of vibration through the handlebar at all until like you roll on throttle, and then that's any bike is gonna buzz a little bit. I am getting a good bit of buzz in my feet, which is fine. It's nothing crazy, but it is noticeable for sure. But yeah, I feel like, you know, this bike, like in 6 gear, you can just roll on it. You've got the power to make any sort of passing you want to make while you're on the freeway. It's really stable, especially the handlebars. Like, you know, I can easily just let this thing go and wiggle it around a little bit, and it's got no problems at all. I really like these mirrors. It takes a good bit of effort to kind of turn them, but they feel very quality, which is great. For a smaller bike, my feet are kind of under my butt. You know, my knees are fairly bent. It's nothing too crazy, but it is still comfortable. The seat is really nice. I was surprised. I heard it's a very, very low seat height in the meetings, and that is the case. It's right about 31 inches. The cup on the seat is really nice. I'm able to easily just kind of lean forward and do what I need to do to be and stay comfortable. You know, I'm already super comfortable with this bike. I'm able to kind of make those dynamic moves around slow moving traffic without any real issue. But at a 5,000-ish euro price point, I think a bike with, you know, a 450 single, plenty of power, all LED lighting, comfortable ergonomics, a great digital dash, is, you know, nice. It's great to see that at this price point we're starting to see the trickle down of lots of really traditionally kind of higher end features make it to a lot of these entry-level bikes. Pretty decent brakes, like one rotor up front, rotor in the back. It's a bi-bray, so like it's a baby Brembo basically, and it's seems to be same front and rear, which is great. The suspension on the other hand is, I mean, it's soft. I'm a big guy. It's hard to spring a bike out of the factory for anybody my size, let's all be honest here. But it seems as though they've done a really good job of being able to do that. I gotta say, out here on these beautiful Spanish back roads, it's really surprising me how much fun this bike is, given, you know, the American style of, you know, more horsepower is more better. That's just not always the case. It's much more fun to ride a slow bike fast than a fast bike slow. You know, this bike, 45 odd horsepower, whatever it makes with that Sherpa 450 engine, it's, you know, it builds power so linearly. You know, it makes okay torque down low. I mean, it's a 450 thumper, it's a single. That's, you know, torque down low is kind of its thing. But what surprises me is as you rev it out, like as you rev this engine out, it just gets so good. Rev it all the way out, gets buzzy up top, hard on the brakes, back her in a little bit. You're able to just really wring this thing's neck out up high in the RPM, and it loves it. It really, the throttle response is so much more, I don't want to say snappy, but it's so much more responsive up high in the revs. One of the things that they talked about in their meetings and the presentations that we got to check out yesterday is the approachability and the accessibility of this motorcycle. So this is a bike that, at a great price point and at a place in the market that includes some really fantastic equipment, you know, it's hard to complain about this bike at all. But the harder I'm pushing this bike, the more that I'm enjoying it for what it is. And I think that's a really key thing about this bike is understanding what it is, what it's for, and really enjoying it. But this isn't really a bike for guys like me. It can be, but it's not who it's designed for. It's obviously designed for a global market, and I think its styling is definitely on point. The colorways are very unique, very different, and I think that's something really cool from Royal Enfield to move away from their, I don't want to say move away, but add a bike to the lineup that isn't so based on something they've been doing for 100 years. This Guerrilla 450 is totally new. There is no looking back at a past model to pull inspiration from. There is no historic bike from the archives that this is a reimagining of. It is just a brand new bike. Alright guys, as we are cruising down this scenic, beautiful road right off the coast of the Mediterranean Sea on the southwestern side of Spain, we have been putting tons of Ks on this bike today and kind of get a good initial impression of what this bike is and who it's for. But really the two groups that this bike is for is going to be your beginner rider, and I think really somebody who just wants a great little commuter, a little around town bebop bike, because this thing is just great in the city. It's a lot of fun out here in the twisties, and due to its kind of scrambler nature, it's really easy for it to deal with kind of some adverse conditions. And what I mean by that is, in Spain and in India and some other countries, it's very easy to be on a back road where it turns into gravel or it turns into a dirt road or something like that. It's something really easy to, you know, come across. Thankfully today we've not had to deal with any of that, but how this bike is set up is in India you could be on a road just like this and go around a bend and then the road is end and it's just a dirt path. So, you know, they've made this a very much a global machine, something that can be used in all sorts of environments, but equipped to handle something a little rougher than your typical standard motorcycle, which is great to see. So kind of the three things that I think push this bike into that beginner category is going to be value for money. Obviously, we talked about price point and the equipment that comes along with this bike. It is astounding and frankly a really well put together machine. Secondary to that is going to be the approachability, from the ergonomic triangle to just kind of the general style of riding that this bike is designed for. It makes it really easy for just about anybody to hop on this thing and have a great time, be smiling ear to ear. So really happy with that. And then the final thing being just the power plant. Oddly enough, this 450 power plant is absolutely enough to get everything done that you need to get done. 45 horsepower, 40-ish pound-feet of torque. You know, it's got low-end torque. When you rev it out, it's got the high-end horsepower. It's a really fun and dynamic machine. Now, the same reasons also apply to why it's a great little bebop around town bike, but I think this bike, due to the componentry, is something that an intermediate or advanced rider could really get every last bit of performance out of this bike and not have to worry from a, like, am I overriding this bike? Really the one thing I would like to see different is probably the front suspension. It's really not that big of a gripe. I mean, that's being really, really picky. It's already got an adjustable rear. It's a Showa front end, so you know it's high quality parts. But I'd love to see a little bit of adjustability. But again, at this price point, I'm being very nitpicky, and I don't really expect adjustability in this market. Alright guys, we are almost back to the hotel. This day has been absolutely incredible. It has been a ton of fun on this Guerrilla 450 from Royal Enfield. It has been absolutely wild. Had an absolute blast. A super fun time with great people and a really, really fun bike. Is it something that Chase needs to ride? Absolutely. We need to get one of these for a first ride at least, if not some sort of long-term loan. I will talk to my friends at Royal Enfield today and see what I can do about that. But of course, it's got to launch in the US first, so it's going to be a ways out. But you know, kind of at the end of the day, I really, really enjoyed this bike. It was a lot of fun. Thank you guys again for supporting the channel. If you guys like this style of content, hit that like button down below. If you guys are into motorcycles or like motorcycle content in general, please hit that subscribe button. So, outro crew, you guys have stuck around all the way to the end of the video. Thank you again. I know it is hard when my videos are like 900 years long or however long this video is at this point. But thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you a long time. Sticking around to the end does so much for us and for the channel. You guys have no idea. It is absolutely incredible that you are still here. My question for you is, have you ever been out of the country? And if you have you ridden your motorcycle or a motorcycle in another country? And how was that experience for you? It's been your boy Patty Rick for Chaseontwowheels here in Barcelona, signing off. You guys ride safe out there, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!